Hello, and welcome to Styla's Lancaster Sew-Along. Lancaster is a woven dress featuring a sweetheart neckline, voluminous sleeves, and a delicate bow at the hem of the sleeve. Lancaster features a 1/2 inch or 1.3 centimeter seam allowance, unless otherwise stated. Before beginning, make sure all your pieces have been prepped according to the instructions in the tutorial. This includes transferring all notches and markings for the bodice, sleeves, and skirt pieces. Locate the front bodice main. Fold the fabric right sides together, aligning the dart marks, and press. Sew directly on top of the marked lines using a straight stitch. Starting at the raw edge, sew inwards and upward toward the dart apex. Do not backstitch at the dart apex. When the dart apex is reached, sew off of the fabric and leave a thread tail. Tie the thread tails in a knot to secure the stitching at the apex. Press the dart down towards the bottom of the bodice and baste in place. Repeat these steps for all remaining darts on the main and the lining fabrics. Locate the front bodice main and front bodice lining piece. Place the front bodice main and lining right sides together. Align the arm side and neck openings. Pin or clip the neck opening. Sew to attach with a straight stitch. When 1 inch away from the V-point, lower the stitch length to 1. When the center V-point is reached, pivot and continue sewing up the other side. Adjust the stitch length back to the original setting once past the center V-point by 1 inch. Trim the seam allowance and clip into the neckline, making sure to clip into the center V. Turn right side out and press. Locate the back side bodice main and lining pieces. Place the back side bodice main and lining pieces right sides together, aligning the arm side and neck openings. Pin or clip the neck opening. Sew to attach across the neckline using a straight stitch. Trim the seam allowance and turn right side out. Press. Repeat for the remaining back side bodice pieces. Locate the front bodice piece and back side pieces. Lay the front bodice open by separating the lining fabric from the main. Open the back side bodice and place it on top of the front bodice, right sides together, aligning the sides and arm sides. Sew to attach the sides with a straight stitch. Repeat with the other side bodice piece. Press the seam allowance toward the back bodice. Turn right side out. Locate the back bodice main and lining pieces. Place the pieces right sides together. Align the top neckline, pin or clip into place, and sew to attach with a straight stitch. Trim the seam allowance, turn right side out, and press. Using the elastic casing guidelines, sew as accurately as possible along the lines to create the elastic casings. Locate your back elastic pieces. The first elastic will be installed below the first sewn line. Using a bodkin or safety pin, thread the elastic through the casing. When the end of the elastic reaches the raw edge of the back bodice, sew the raw edge of the elastic down. Continue threading the elastic through the casing until it reaches the opposite end of the opening. Sew the raw edge of the elastic down to the raw edge of the other opening. The elastics will then be placed in every other opening. Repeat for all the other elastics. Using your iron, run some steam over the top of the elastics. Locate the front bodice piece. Lay the front bodice open by separating the lining fabric from the main. Place the back center bodice on top of one of the front bodice sides, right sides together. Fold the front bodice lining over the 3 layers to meet the back bodice lining, aligning all 4 layers. Pin or clip into place. Sew to attach with a straight stitch. Turn right side out and press. Repeat the previous steps with the other side. Using a buttonhole foot, sew the buttonholes on the right side of each sleeve piece. Be sure to open the buttonholes before moving on to hemming the sleeve. Lay the sleeve wrong side up. Fold the bottom raw edge of the sleeve 1/4 inch or 0.6 centimeters wrong sides together and press. Fold another 1 1/8 inch or 2.8 centimeters wrong sides together and press. Starting at one side, sew a straight line 1/8 of an inch or 0.3 centimeters away from the top folded edge until the other end is reached. Sew another straight line 1/2 an inch or 1.3 centimeters away from the bottom folded edge. This will create a 1/2 inch or 1.3 centimeter ruffle and a 1/2 inch or 1.3 centimeter casing for the elastic. Locate the bottom sleeve elastic. Using a bodkin or safety pin, thread the elastic through the casing. When the raw end of the elastic reaches the raw end of the sleeve, sew to attach the elastic. Continue threading the elastic through the casing until it reaches the opposite end of the sleeve opening. Sew the raw end of the elastic down. Lay the sleeve wrong side up. Fold the top raw edge of the sleeve 1/4 inch or 0.6 centimeters wrong sides together and press. Fold another 1 1/8 inch or 2.8 centimeters wrong sides together and press. Starting at one side, sew a straight line 1/8 of an inch or 0.3 centimeters away from the bottom folded edge until the other end is reached. Sew another straight line 1/2 inch or 1.3 centimeters away from the top folded edge until the other end is reached. This will create a 1/2 inch or 1.3 centimeter ruffle and a 1/2 inch or 1.3 centimeter casing for the elastic. Locate the top sleeve elastic. Using a bodkin or safety pin, thread the elastic through the casing. When the raw edge of the elastic reaches the raw edge of the sleeve, sew the raw edge of the elastic down. Continue threading the elastic through the casing until it reaches the opposite end of the sleeve opening. Sew the raw end of the elastic to secure. Fold the sleeves right sides together. Pin or clip into place. Sew to attach with a straight stitch. Finish the seams. If desired, tack down the seam allowance at the bottom of the sleeve. Locate the bodice and the sleeve piece. Turn the sleeve right side out. With the bodice right side out, align the underarm seam of the sleeve with the underarm seam of the bodice. Align the end of the front sleeve with the end of the front shoulder opening. Pin or clip into place. Repeat for the back portion of the sleeve. Sew to attach the sleeve to the bodice with a straight stitch. Finish the seam and press the seam allowance toward the sleeve. Repeat these steps with the remaining sleeve. Locate your drawstring piece. Fold the drawstring in half right sides together and press. Sew around the drawstring. Leave a 2-inch opening in the center. Trim the seam allowance and clip the corners. Turn right side out through the opening and press. Stitch the 2-inch opening closed. Using a bodkin or safety pin, thread the drawstring through one buttonhole and out the other. Tie into a bow. Repeat with the other drawstring. Place the 2 skirt pieces right sides together. Sew at the short ends with a straight stitch. Finish the seams. Press the seam allowances towards the back. Using the back skirt notches as a starting and stopping point, sew a gathering stitch along the top raw circumference of the front and back skirt at a 1/4 inch or 0.6 centimeter seam allowance. The back center bodice portion of the skirt between the notches will not be gathered with a basting stitch. Keeping the bodice right side out, turn the skirt wrong side out and slide the skirt over the bodice, right sides together. Align the back skirt notches with the back center bodice seam lines. Pin or clip into place. Gather the skirt the same size opening as the front and back bodice pieces. Sew to attach with a straight stitch. The back bodice elastic will need to be stretched while sewing the ungathered portion. Finish the seam. Flip the skirt down and press the seam allowance down toward the skirt. Place the second tier pieces right sides together. Sew at the short ends using a straight stitch. Finish the seams. Sew a gathering stitch along the top raw circumference of the second tier using a 1/4 inch or 0.6 centimeter seam allowance. Keeping the dress right side out, flip the second tier wrong side out and slide the second tier over the skirt, right sides together. Gather the second tier the same width as the skirt. Align the raw edges and pin or clip into place. Sew to attach using a straight stitch. Finish the seam. Flip the second tier down and press the seam allowance toward the skirt. Fold the bottom raw edge of the skirt 1/4 inch or 0.6 centimeters wrong sides together and press. Fold another 1/4 inch or 0.6 centimeters and press. Edge stitch to secure the hem. Thank you for joining the Styla Lancaster Sew Along. We hope you enjoyed sewing with us today.